businesses all around the world are trying to get organized to take advantage of the latest artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies. And what that usually means is collecting data, getting the data sets organized and ready to have machine learning algorithms applied to them to improve business outcomes. And Alex, you've been at this now with Kortical for some period of time. What are you saying to medium-sized businesses on how they can get their data sets organized to take advantage of machine learning?
So I think once you've got a data set, that's just the beginning, right? You actually need to turn that into a machine learning hypothesis that you can test. It's like, we've got all this customer data, can we actually predict default? And now that's the process that at the moment takes 6 months. You've got to get a data scientist, they manually kind of put together a model. You know, it takes all these different packages, all these different libraries, programming languages. It's a very manual process. For our platform, we just use AI to actually do that whole process for them. Use a cloud scale to massively turbocharge it. So we can test a hypothesis in 2 to 6 weeks, and that actually end up with a better result than if you'd kind of manually sat down and tried to do it yourself.
You have a retail banking customer that has a bunch of historical loan information, and of course in the banking world, banks are always trying to increase the amount of credit they're issuing. They're always trying to capture more revenue from existing customers. How did your cognitive platform apply to this bank opportunity?
So yeah, they had all this historical transactional data that they weren't really using in their credit scoring at the moment because they didn't really know how to make sense of it. Hundreds of millions of rows, and they gave us 4 weeks, and we used our platform to search through literally hundreds of thousands of different ways of using that data to predict the outcome. And we actually were able to produce a model that improved the number of customers they could lend to that they'd previously written off using their existing credit scoring by 80%. Which was
80% more loans would have been issued by this bank.
With the same default rate.
The same default rate, without increasing their risk profile.
Without increasing the risk profile.
That's a powerful stat. What's the secret sauce in your technology to make that kind of result possible?
The secret sauce is that complicated machine learning models are very cutting edge and very poorly understood, and there's not that many people who can actually get anywhere with them. We've got a machine learning platform that builds machine learning, basically. So we use machine learning itself to find and configure the exact right model for that given solution. And then we use the cloud to sort of turbocharge that process, to use hundreds of machines at once to get to a great model in a fraction of the time.
So in your existing model, with that banking customer as an example, is there a significant level of human intervention to keep the model improving, or are the machines able to actually iterate on the model on their own?
There's always needs to be a human in the loop, I think, because especially with things like GDPR, you need to understand why the model made a decision in the first place. You can't just have it issuing credit without understanding why it made that credit.
Sure.
So we've actually got technology in our platform that if you've got something like a neural network, typically people see that as a black box. You can't understand why it made a decision.
Right, input and output, you don't see anything else.
But we've got tech that allows us to actually see inside that, so we can say, that's why this customer was not issued a loan or was issued a loan. And you can actually use that insight to try and remove some of the bias and make yourselves more compliant from a kind of GDPR point of view, saying we actually know that we're not taking into account all these factors that are problematic, sort of like race or gender or anything like that.